Hi, I'm Adrian Baker. I'm a meditation and a psychedelic integration coach, and I help people to prepare for and to integrate psychedelic journeys through a secular Buddhist approach. You know, for me, Buddhism, it's not about being religious. It can really just be helpful for anyone who's trying to become more self-aware or to understand the nature of their own mind, or for anyone who's trying to prepare for and to skillfully navigate and to integrate a psychedelic journey. In this video, I want to talk about a core teaching in Buddhism called Samsara and how this really is important. It's relevant for psychedelic work. Psychedelics is a lot about coming to get insight into our own patterns and how to change those things, how to figure out what are our habitual strategies for happiness or well-being or purpose that we keep trying but keep falling or coming up short. How can we change those? Samsara can be thought of as the patterns that we're stuck in. It could also mean this wheel of desire that keeps us spinning around from lifetime after lifetime. A modern, just more simple take on it can be, it is our psychological patterns and conditioning that keep us spinning around and around in our habits, in our patterns. This constant push and pull of reacting to sensory experience is what keeps us spinning around in samsara in a very unconscious way. Being attached not to just sensory experience, but things like the 8 worldly concerns, for example, just being very concerned with what people think about us, right? Our reputation, praise and blame, gain and loss, our worldly achievements. It's not to say we don't want to be achieving or tapping into an innate sense of creativity, but there's a big difference between doing something out of a sense of intrinsic joy, like I really love doing this could be of service to other people, versus some external marker like people will think I'm important or worthy of love, which is what often people really just want underneath all of that. That kind of hollowness at the center of oneself is not something that can come from filling ourselves with outside objects, status symbols, sensory experience, whatever. That can really only come from turning within and recognizing our own innate wholeness, which is always and already there. How can psychedelics, or how can ayahuasca or an ayahuasca analog like Soma in particular be really helpful for that? Ayahuasca or Soma plant medicine, it is one practice within a larger path. Yoga, meditation, psychotherapy, some kind of spiritual practice, whatever that is for you, all these things are very important to be doing. The more of that you're doing, the more benefit you'll get from ayahuasca or Soma. This isn't something you need psychedelics to do. It's something that people can really do when they sit down and they start to examine their mind very closely in meditation. However, the advantage of psychedelics is that many people, especially if you're not from a culture where contemplation is part of the culture, most people don't have the time or the interest to spend a week or several weeks sitting in silence, developing vivid attention where they start to recognize these kind of truths about the impermanent nature of phenomenon and how the mind is constantly reacting to sensory experience. One benefit of ayahuasca and Soma is that it's an amplifier. If the mind is like a mirror, it is making very vivid the appearances in the mind so that we can see really clearly a lot of what our thoughts and our patterns and our fears and our desires and our fantasies are. And that's what this medicine is doing. What is unique about this particular medicine is it has these harmala alkaloids, which really help to clear a lot of and unlock a lot of these stored emotions, traumas, and energies in the body. I have a video that goes into depth on that, which I'll include here. But that's one way that we can get a lot of insight and to start to shift our patterns, to get out of samsara, which is our default mode of perceiving things. Psychedelics just make it a lot easier to recognize what's happening in the mind. It can make things easier to recognize these dharmic truths, like about impermanence. Dharma and meditation can really help with psychedelics. It's just making it so vivid and obvious that you kind of can't miss the signals. We can start to see how much we're just constantly seeking and chasing satisfaction, whether it's external status symbols, feelings of achievement. The more we're just paying attention to our patterns and how we're feeling, the more that we can clearly see a lot of times how our strategies for happiness or for finding a fulfilling relationship are coming up short. This is something that really helped me to give up a very unhealthy relationship with alcohol. It was having these teachings around impermanence in samsara from the Buddhist tradition, doing a little meditation, doing some yoga, and just starting to pay attention. Oh, this is how I feel. When I haven't been drinking for a few days, then I even have a few drinks and then wake up the next morning. These teachings on samsara, on impermanence, are just very, very helpful to understand. Another way of relating to ayahuasca and Soma is through this dharmic contemplative meditation approach, but another way is through a psychotherapeutic approach. And that can be bringing in insights from your therapist. One way of relating to ayahuasca or the sentient intelligence that's also in Soma is that it is like a therapist who is pointing out some patterns to you. In the days and weeks following, when there's a lot of neuroplasticity in the wake of a psychedelic journey, that's an incredible time to start making changes. This is what is meant by samsara, our default mode of perceiving, running around in our habitual patterns. Plant medicine, Dharma, and meditation can combine synergistically to help us shift from samsara to nirvana. This is the gift that Dharma and meditation can give us, recognizing the nature of our own minds, which is available in any moment. It's not in some distant place. For people who are interested in really undergoing that training in a systematic way, I highly recommend studying with my teachers, Mingyur Rinpoche and Tsoknyi Rinpoche. Mingyur Rinpoche, his organization is Turgar. He has a great program for people called The Joy of Living. It walks people through a very step-by-step systematic training through giving people a foundation for meditation, and then walks them into these nature of mind teachings, which is in his Path of Liberation program. Tsoknyi Rinpoche has an excellent program as well, Fully Being, which connects us a lot to embodiment, really important for plant medicine work or for any kind of just personal healing. As Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche said, samsara is a mind turned outward, nirvana is a mind resting in its own place. And meditation, Dharma, plant medicine, that's what it's helping to recognize, our true nature, our mind that's just resting in its own place. If you found this helpful, please hit the subscribe button where you can find more content like this on Sahaja Soma, or leave a question or comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.